Hey everybody, welcome to this week's lesson for GPS, and we are in week 2 of how to be a quitter. Now, before we begin, I got to share one thing. I got my Polar Plunge shirt on from last year. Sue's got hers on, but she's under a blanket and doesn't want to get in front of the camera. We are still planning on doing Polar Plunge this year. It is February 27th. We don't know how it's going to look yet. On their website, it says there's going to be hopefully an in-person option at Carlisle Lake like we always do, but there's also going to be an at-home version, but they haven't laid out any of the guidelines or anything for that yet. So either way, we are going to participate in the Polar Plunge. Hopefully we can go to Carlisle Lake like we always do, but if not, we'll figure something out at church and still raise money for a great cause and freeze our biscuits off and all kinds of stuff. So plan on February 27th or thereabouts. If we do it on our own, we don't have to do it that day, but plan on Polar Plunge this year. So very cool. All right, so last week's How to Be a Quitter was quit making excuses in 2021. And this week's lesson is quit complaining. I have as my studio audience, Susan, Natalie, Woo! And the dude. Yeah. And a couple dogs. So if you hear some dogs, don't complain. All right, so quit complaining. How many of you know someone who complains all the time? Shh, you guys be quiet. There's finger pointing going on in the living room. Yeah, I tend to do that. But how many of you know someone, a friend or family member or neighbor or something that complains all the time? They're always the victim. They always find something wrong with everything. What are some things people complain about the most? So, people complain about their parents, they don't complain about us. You guys don't complain about us, right?
Never.
Yeah, see, never. They complain about their parents, their teachers, their friends, their school, being too busy, being too bored. Their shirt isn't the right color blue. Their coffee is too hot. Their coffee is too cold. They are too tall. They are too short. It's too cold outside. It's too hot inside. The font is too yellow. The font is too small. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter what's going on. People will always find a reason to complain about everything. It's almost like I've become this guy. Oh, you can't see it. The screen is too blurry. It's get off my lawn guy. We always make jokes that old guys want people to stay off their lawns. I'm becoming that guy. I don't know why, but we have people in the neighborhood come out in the lot next to our house that we have as part of our yard and play in there, and it drives me crazy, and I don't know why. I think it's because I've become this guy. I remember when I was this guy. Girls, remember when we used to shake the crabbies out?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So every time one of our kids got crabby, I said, oh, come on, let's shake the crabbies out. And I shook them upside down. So, oh, get the crabbies out. Dude, come here. Come here.
Oh my God, no, you're not.
We're gonna see if we can still do this.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
No, I'm not. All right, we're gonna. You get your.
Oh my God.
Shake the crabbies out. Shake the crabbies. Oh.
Oh man.
All right.
Here comes the dog.
Hey, Rune, shake the crabbies out. All right, so it's been a minute since we've done that. Holy cow. Ugh. All right, so. What? So I used to be that guy. That stuff still bothered me, but I was shake the crabbies out guy. So there are two principles in the Old Testament. Whoops, that doesn't come up. There are two principles in the Old Testament to understand. One is complaining hurts the heart of God. Have you ever done a lot for a friend or really gone out of your way for them, and all they want to do is complain about how it isn't enough or it isn't what they like? Have you, man, what, picking up dude has just worn me out. That's crazy. So have you ever gone out of your way to do something for a friend? Maybe you really worked really hard to I don't know, make their favorite meal, or dude, what's something people do for friends? Make up a gift basket. How about that? A gift bag with candy and all that. And they're like, oh, thanks. I wish there was more chocolate in it. That's just crazy. You just say thanks and move on. But we do this all the time. We go out of our way to do things for people, or people go out of the way to do things for us, and then we complain about the little bitty things. Has anybody ever done that to you, where you've gone out of your way for them, and they complain about it? How did it make you feel? Surely it didn't make you feel very happy. The second principle in the Old Testament is complaining carries heavy consequences. Someone once said, complainers have spiritual bad breath. And what do you do when you're around somebody with bad breath? You back off. You don't go around that person anymore. You just you avoid them as best you can. So if somebody's complaining all the time, it's like they have bad breath. You're going to avoid them, and they're going to avoid you. The same is true when people complain all the time. It drives people away. If you complain all the time, it's going to drive people away. The book of Numbers, chapter 11, verses 1 and 2, fire from the Lord. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the Lord cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So why is it important to not complain? What if God is planning something special for your life, but you're too busy complaining to notice it? Or worse, what if God chooses to remove that planned blessing from your life because of your complaining? We spent all of 2020 complaining about the pandemic, complaining about masks, complaining that we had to be inside, complaining that we couldn't go out to eat, complaining that sports were canceled, complaining about theater and music and everything else being pushed back or altered or whatever, complaining that we couldn't meet in person for school or church or whatever. We complained. We complained. Yet there were a lot of blessings, and I tried very hard in all of our meetings and all of our lessons in 2020 to find the silver lining in things, find the blessings in there. But if we're too busy complaining, we're never going to see that. And I know there are still people that are too busy complaining to see the blessings that have come in this past year. We got to spend more time with family. We did get to slow down. We learned about new technologies, and we learned all kinds of things. So there are some positives. All right, if you want to complain and be negative, you don't have to look very hard to find things to complain about, like I just said. Am I right or am I right? What movie is this from, girls? You might know?
Nope.
Sue? Rooney, get down.
It's that Christmas movie.
Rooney.
The Christmas movie?
Nope. Groundhog Day.
Oh.
That's Ned. I think it's Ned. Some people are guilty of looking for something to complain about. Again, 2020 had a lot to complain about. Don't get me wrong. There were a lot of things. But there are some people, and my Facebook feed is full of them, where people will just find any reason to complain about anything. It's as if they've been given a new car, and then they complain because it's not the right color. Have you ever been in a situation like that? It doesn't matter how good things could be, you will always find something to complain about. Or you have friends that do that. There are some things you just can't do anything about. So what do? what do we do when in our current culture, complaining is not only normal, it's expected? Have you gone a day, kids in school, you guys at school, have you gone a day without complaining about school?
No.
Nope. No. Every day you complain about it. Why? You're expected to complain. You're supposed to complain. It's school. And it's remote. You have too much homework. Yeah, you're supposed to complain. We complain about work. We complain about this. We complain about when I order a sandwich from Jimmy John's. And I always order without lettuce because lettuce is disgusting. And I can tell if they've made the sandwich and put lettuce on it and then realize it was supposed to be without lettuce and they take about 98, 99% of it off, there's still a few little lettuce fragments on there, ruins my day. Totally ruins my day. 99% of it is great, but that 1% ruins. I complain. We're expected to complain. Paul makes it pretty easy in his letter to the Philippians in chapter 2, verse 14. Do everything without grumbling or arguing. Pretty simple. He also said in his letter to the Ephesians, I love my dog. He also said in his letter to the Ephesians in chapter 4, verse 29, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. So we just read Philippians 2:14 a second ago. Here's verse 15. So here's 14. Do everything without grumbling or arguing. Then 15 is, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. So what's the next step? Choose to find joy in every situation, no matter what. I know we have a lot of Friends fans out here. Who's this guy? Do you guys remember this guy?
Parker.
This character? Parker. And what was unique about Parker?
Everything was fascinating.
Everything was fascinating and happy, right? He got excited about everything. Wasn't that just the most magical car ride? And even when he and Phoebe break up at the end, they get in a fight. She shuts the door, he leaves, she shuts the door, and he comes back in. Wasn't that just the most amazing fight ever? He finds positive and everything, to the point that he's annoying about it. And people make fun of him. That's the problem now. We are expected to complain. We're expected to be crabby. We're expected to be get off my lawn guy. So much so that this guy is unusual. The guy that finds joy in everything, the guy that finds happiness and the positive in everything is the one that's weird. That can't be how God intended it to be. Paul wrote the book of Philippians from prison. Now remember that verse? Do everything without grumbling or arguing. He wrote that from prison. I mean, dude had a perfect reason to complain. He was in prison. But he still reminded us, do everything without grumbling or arguing. Even in the midst of struggle, Paul was able to align his heart with the heart of Christ. If we can do that, if we can align our heart with the heart of God, we'll see that complaining costs a lot and it can cost us significantly. So again, what happens when you're around somebody that complains all the time? Or maybe you are somebody that complains all the time. People distance themselves. In the last couple of weeks, I have hid or unfriended or whatever several people on my Facebook feed. You're fine. Several people in my Facebook feed. And some of them I'm very good friends with and I'm close with. Because they're always complaining. They're always negative. Their posts are so hateful and divisive that I can't take it anymore. They have spiritual bad breath, in my opinion. And they're on social media, but I'm keeping them at a distance. And I'm trying hard to not be that person myself. And I know sometimes it's hard. But we will see that because God is so good, it will be easy to find joy. Joy! Right? Okay, so here are the questions that I need you to put on or answer on GroupMe. 1, what are some of the things you feel that you complain about the most? What do you think causes some of your complaining? So I'll tell you this. If you're in a bad situation or a situation that you're not real fond of, you will find things to complain about. If you're happy about things, you're more likely to just let certain things go. So let's say you're at Disney World and everything is great. Maybe your line is a half hour long, right? Cool, I'm at Disney World, it's a half hour. I'll do it, it's worth it, no problem. But if you're at McDonald's and your line is half hour long, damn it! It's a half hour! You get mad, right? So what do you think causes some of your complaining? So think about that and answer that. How has that worked out for you? In situations where you find yourself complaining, how has that worked out for you? What consequences did you see from that? Did people start separating themselves from you? Did you find yourself separating from them? So answer that. And then what are some ways you can stop complaining and start rejoicing? Always try to find the positive. I've shared this with you guys before. I've shared it maybe even last week. I don't try to separate my days into good days and bad days. I have different degrees of good days. Every day, in my opinion, is a good day. Some days are better than others. But I hate to think that I have bad days because I can always find something good in the day. So with that, we're going to draw for cards. So here's the thing. Answer these 4 questions. We're going to post this picture on our GroupMe page so you can just answer from there. There were over 30 people that watched the video last week, but only 5 people responded to the questions. Those 5 names have been put in a cup, and we are going to draw them, and you have won a gift card. We have a $20 gift card. All these are worth $20 to Domino's, Subway, Taco Bell, Breadco, Dairy Queen, McDonald's, hopefully the line's not a half hour long, and Amazon. So, dogs are going to do that while I get the cup to draw names. Okay, so that was fun. So so you draw.
Winner is Aaron.
Aaron Swanson! Aaron Swanson! You are the first winner of our participation door prize, I guess you want to call it, for a gift card. So they will be available at church. Or I can mail it to you. If you want me to mail it to you, I can mail it to you. That's fine. Just text me and let me know. So this week, everybody, answer the questions. If you've answered these questions on GroupMe, your name will be put in a cup and your name will be drawn next week for a prize. Get those in sometime this week.
So he needs to let you know what gift card he wants.
Let me know what gift card you want and how you want me to get it to you. All right? So, cool. Next week, we have part 3 of quitting. It's quit living in fear. I'm really looking forward to that because that's one thing that's been bantied about quite a bit during the pandemic is people living in fear, not fear. So we're going to touch on that. Quit living in fear. I'm looking forward to it. So enjoy your week. Have a great time going back to school. Those of you that are going back remotely, and we will be in touch soon. Blessings. You guys want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye. Dude, when we pick you up again?
No.
No, I don't either. Bye, guys.